Hello and welcome to Topson. My name is William Lebowski, and today we are here at Daytona International Speedway, just following that really incredibly exciting Daytona 24 with the Rolex this past weekend. And one of my favorite things about sim racing, if not the thing that really pulls me in most, the thing that gives me the most amount of fun, the thing that really fuels me up when it comes to the metaphorical fuel of sim racing, is going to see an amazing event take place, or watching an amazing event on TV, and then going into the sim, sitting down in my rig, booting up Steam, picking a sim that would best suit the race that I just watched, recreating all of the settings in the track and the different weather and different environment settings to make everything right, or to recreate the one moment that I had seen or the part of the race that I was interested in at that point in time, and then almost pretend or immerse yourself in that situation. Pretend that you are experiencing it for yourself. And I think that that is one of the most valuable aspects of sim racing, because even the people that race in real life, I mean, and to make the ultimate example, to compare Max Verstappen in this situation, is there's something that sim racing provides you that you cannot get in real life. And he is a guy that could have anything he wants in and outside of motorsports, and he still chose to take part in the virtual Le Mans. It was something that was worth it for him to do, to practice and to put his time in, because it's not just this meaningless gaming endeavor, even though in all of the recent drama that it's been in, with maybe not necessarily drama, but all the talk about esports, the professional direction of sim racing and esports, and how that's going to go, especially with the introduction of the Rensport tournament and prize money, and so that's been a conversation in a lot of people's mind, but I think the most valuable thing that we're missing out on is the ability to do things that no one, even the Max Verstappens of the world, have the ability to do, and that is to take part in whatever event you want to take part in at whatever time, whether it be something that you're setting up at a spur of a moment in your basement, you just completely by yourself with AI, or whether it's something that's brought together and it's something that's a huge event like the virtual Le Mans. And so being able to just take part and experience that is my favorite thing about sim racing, and it's something that I'm going to be looking for more, especially right now, between the virtual Le Mans, between the exclusive licenses drama, between the contention between where sim racing is headed as a whole, between esports. There's a lot of people, especially people who make videos and people who watch videos. There's just so much about this topic, and it's not just exhausting the topic itself, but I think the topic intrinsically is providing this stress to the community and to the members of the community that they weren't really experiencing before all of this really came into play. And so I think just as to do the right thing would be to look forward, to who, for example, and I think Mike from SimRacing 604, Jake from GP Laps, and of course Laboca Sim Racing had brought up the point about just getting back to doing what you find fun, whatever it is. And all three of them really had kind of different things that they find fun in this comparison. And so that's another amazing thing about sim racing, is that not only can you do whatever you want, but you get to share it, which is the added amazing part of the whole online community aspect of what the YouTube scene can do for sim racing. And so just to back out and from that, to take a step back and looking at what is something to do for fun, the thing that I got so much enjoyment out of, and the thing that really pulled me into both sim racing and to watching endurance racing live, is recreating not just moments, but 24-hour races in anywhere between 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 24 minutes is the perfect mark, but up to a half hour in time, and sometimes even doing a full 1 hour race and getting a full day cycle within 1 hour's time. So doing things like that is going to be something that I'm going to do more. And one thing with this video in specific that I want to point out was that you can see there's a distinct lack of a talk and drive happening. And that is because I spent a lot of time, 3 recording sessions worth of trying to make a talk and drive happen, but it just wasn't coming together. And it got to a certain point where the Daytona 24, Rolex 24 had gotten now a couple days away, as now we're looking on Tuesday. And it was just this past weekend, and now it's a couple days away, and I was getting, the moment was starting to pass me, and I really didn't want the moment to pass me before having an amazing race. And so I was just like, okay, I need to shut up and just experience this. If this whole video is just going to be about fun, I can work around that. But if I'm not having fun, or if I'm not having a good time, or at least not convincing, and not even convincible good time, then it's not going to be a good video. So I was like, okay, just shut up, just go for the race, and let's see what happens. And then that's what I ended up doing here, and so that's why we get the edited version. You miss all the slow bits, just get all the interesting bits, and with my voice on top instead of getting the talk and drive as we go. So yeah, going forward, I do want those to be talk and drive videos, and just like to say what I'm talking about, just to give you a run through of the calendar, just the races that are on my mind, things that I'm going to want to recreate in some way, shape, or form. The first one is Daytona, obviously, as you're seeing that happen now. 12 hours of Bathurst is happening just around the corner this next weekend. 1,000 miles of Sebring, the 24-hour Nürburgring, the 24-hour Le Mans, 24-hour Spa, the IMSA Road America race, Petit Le Mans, and the Indy 500 are some of the things that are on my radar. And those roughly, the ones that I just named, roughly are already at about a once a month interval throughout the season, and then ends Petit Le Mans ends of course in October, and November, December, obviously it's pretty cold, and it is the real life off season for motorsports, so that is where the calendar is for this point. So that is just something I really wanted to get back to, is being able to recreate these types of races and have that type of fun again, and I feel like that's going to be the way to do it. And going into this year, I thought that the way that I was going to be having a lot of fun this year with sim racing was going to be multiplayer racing and endurance racing and league racing and getting into different series. And I feel like I overcommitted to leagues and to series this season, and it really all came to a head 2 weekends ago during our 12-hour Bathurst. I was doing the ART. A 12-hour Bathurst, and I also had a 2-hour Brands Hatch in ACC in the middle of the 12-hour Bathurst, and at the end of the day I picked up another 1.2-hour Bathurst. And after my I had to wake up at 4 a.m. to make Bathurst happen, so I woke up at 4 a.m. to make that happen, did qualifying, did the driver's briefing, sat around waiting for the race to start, started the race, did my first stint. And the race kind of went sideways from there, and also I got sick from there and was in the bathroom, making use of that. I don't know. We don't need to get specific. And so, I was out of commission then for the rest of the day, and so I ended up taking a nap, having to pull out of the rest of the race, not just for myself, but things went sideways for the team as well. So I had to pull out of that race, pulled out of the Brands Hatch race, and then I did enter the 1.2 hours of Bathurst later that day. However, it went really poorly for me right at the beginning, and I just didn't have specific time to practice Bathurst and ACC. And yeah, so it went poorly, and it was a really disappointing time. But the thing I really walked away from then thinking over about the next couple of days was realizing how thin I had spread myself, and realizing that was not going to be a good idea going forward. So right now my endurance calendar is empty. I am still in a TCR series. I am still in a once a month 2-hour ACC series, and I feel like that's going to carry me through at least the first half of the year, and going forward starting to look into the iRacing special events calendar going forward with for team event stuff, just because of how effortlessly iRacing does team-based endurance stuff. And so I don't really want to mess around too much with rFactor 2 anymore, especially when you have to worry about, it's an international community, so you have to worry about so many different things, from connections to languages to the race just being run smoothly and being able to understand what's happening, because they have to communicate through in TeamSpeak, where iRacing can really just set the whole weekend itself and kind of just go off without a hitch, without any kind of supervision or intervention. So going to be looking forward to that. I don't know what I'm going to do for the small, what I'm referring to in my head is like the small batch kind of stuff. It would have been the TCR stuff. But anyway, that's what's kind of on the docket. That's what I've been thinking about recently. And here we are going into our last lap at Daytona. You can see just on time-wise, we have 1:14 left. Our laps are taking about, a minute 35. and the car ahead of me is in first place. I have only enough fuel to get back around, just barely enough fuel to make it. You can see we have 1 more minute on the clock, so it's confirmed at this point in time that the race will end by the time we get back to the start-finish line, and I am in the primo position. I love to be this close up to someone on the last lap of Daytona, because you just have to know not to make your move too early, because whoever is in the draft following the chicane can come around and win the race. And so I just know that I have to make it to the chicane, I have to make it through the chicane, and I've just got to really take it easy, nothing too crazy. I'm not going to win the race before then, and I know I just have to stay back. And I'm also still slightly nervous about fuel, even though I know at this point we're for sure going to make it. It just seems like we're like 1.5 liters now at this point. We're flying through the fuel. Whether or not we make it, you know, this is what we got. And so it's exciting because I'm trying to make it on fuel. I'm trying to make it against this opponent in front of me, back up into qualification for the last little bit. And we see we run into some LMP2 traffic. And that's going to be the decider as we go 3 wide entering into turn 3 at Daytona. We are side by side. I have less than a liter of fuel at this point, less than 3/4. We have half a liter, and we are in first place. I'm just watching it because I'm not convinced that we have enough fuel, but we start to pull away. I realize at this point we're going to win. We have enough fuel to make it, and that was incredibly close. I was really excited. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the future for those future endurance AI races. And we'll see you in the next one. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.